All right, now moving on to the final part of today's Washington in Focus episode. I had an opportunity last weekend to meet some of the candidates for Supreme Court here in the state of Washington. There was a Let's Go Washington event held in Redmond, and several of them were in attendance. So I grabbed whoever I could grab and got some interviews. So I want to talk to you about the two candidates running for the position currently held by Justice Theo Angelus. He was sworn in back in April, appointed by Governor Bob Ferguson when the previous judge left that seat early. And that's how it works. But then you have to run, just as if you're a candidate on the ballot, even though you have been appointed and are already serving in that position. So Theo Angelus is running against Dave Larson. And when the primary results came in, of course, they were the top two vote getters. I'm going to read this so I don't mess it up. Theo Angelus had 35.86% of the votes. Dave Larson had 32.16% of the votes. So, again, as I mentioned, Angelus was appointed to that position back in April upon Governor Ferguson, replacing the retiring Justice Barbara Madsen. Before that, he was a litigator with the law firm that Governor Ferguson worked at, K&L Gates. Larson, on the other hand, came pretty close to earning a position back in 2024. He lost a campaign that year to now sitting Justice Salman Ghia by about 20,000 votes. Sounds like a lot, but out of nearly 3.3 million votes cast, that was a pretty close race. He retired recently as a Federal Way Municipal Court judge. So here is part of my conversation last weekend with Dave Larson.
Well, even calling him the incumbent at this point, because he was appointed, that's one of the problems we have in our system is that we have this resign and appoint, and the people deserve to be able to have a choice. And I believe I am that choice. That oath has to mean something. And I think what's happened in recent years with the Supreme Court, they're more interested in the results than they are in a law. We make the result shape the law instead of the law shaping the result. And I think what I add is that this passion to really breathe life into the Constitution. Like I cited Article 1, Section 1, where all political power is inherent in the people and governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. The purpose of government is to protect and maintain individual rights. Most people, when I tell them that, they're surprised that's the first provision, but it's something I love. And again, I'm a servant, not a master. I've been that way as an elected official for 20 years. And I continue to want to do that in the Supreme Court to restore confidence in the court. Right now, the court cares about confidence, but only the people they like. And I want everybody to have confidence in the court.
Do you feel that our current state Supreme Court makeup is become activist?
Yes, well, they have indicated, and again, I know them all. I like them all. I don't have any problem with them, but they've made it very clear. A few of the justices that it's about social justice. It's about an agenda, and they're not shy about it. They think that that's what their role is to actually shape public policy, and it's created some of the chaos that we see in our society. We could go into greater detail, but ultimately, there's plenty of examples where they've got into the policy arena that's created problems. One example is the Blake decision, where they legalized drugs, essentially legalized drugs, and yeah, I think that the different direction, and basically, I just want to be a judge. And I think most people want judges to be judges. They don't want them to be activists for either side. And I think we just need to be pretty insistent in the judiciary to make sure that we know our role, which is to be, again, the lighthouse in the storm, not a ship lost at sea, and kind of that kind of constant in government.
And now Theo Angelus, who again attended the Let's Go Washington event in Redmond last weekend, I said, "Hey, you're at a mostly center right event. Why'd you decide to come? Why was this important to you?"
I genuinely believe our judiciary is nonpartisan, should be nonpartisan, and I want to make sure that all voices in Washington are heard. I think it's important for me to talk to everyone, whether they're naturally inclined to agree with me or not. I think our judges and our justices should be always careful to speak to everyone in our state. That's why we have an elected judiciary in Washington. It's important for us to talk to everyone, and so that's why I wanted to be here today. Well, I take real steps to try to ensure that I have no bias in my decision making. So I've talked about it a lot, but one thing I do is I create an actual list of potential biases that I might have. And I find that when I list them, they fall away and I can decide the case based on the merits, based on the facts of the case and the law as I understand it. So It's been a huge honor for me to serve the people of Washington in position 5. I truly believe that a great and independent judiciary is fundamental to ordered liberty in our country. And so, just if you're looking for someone who's trying to be independent, who wants to decide cases as they should be decided based only on the law and the facts, I hope you'll support me. And that's what I'd like all the voters to know.
So Dave Larson and Theo Angelus, just two of the candidates for one of the five Supreme Court races on your ballot this November. We're going to be profiling some of the other candidates that I had an opportunity to interview last weekend in the coming days this week on episodes of Washington in Focus Daily. That's it for today for this Tuesday. Enjoy the sunshine. I hope to see you again on Wednesday.